Welcome back to America on the Road with Chris Teague, Jack Nerad back with you. We're so glad you're with us on America on the Road for another year of America on the Road. I guess our 32nd year. It's kind of crazy that
I started when I was 9 years old, Jack.
Yeah, I started before I was born. I started when you were 30 or something. No, I'm kidding. But in any case, we have road test vehicles and pretty cool ones too. A Ford Ranger pickup truck is quite a competitor. And it might well be the North American Truck of the Year. We will find out in about 10 days' time or something like that. But Chris, you were driving it. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I spent the week behind the wheel of the 2025 Ford Ranger. Jack, I always like talking about the Ranger because of how it was sold in the United States for a long period of time and then went away for a decent chunk of time, came back in 2019 as the version that other markets have been seeing in other countries. And now we have a new truck in 2025, which also debuted elsewhere before we got it. But Ford offers 3 trims of the truck beyond the Raptor, which is new for the model year. I tested the Lariat model, which is the top of the normal lineup of the Ranger. You can get into this truck for a little bit under $35,000, which is not too bad. My truck was a little bit over $46,000 with options, so still not too bad, a lot cheaper than a full-size truck. Jack, before I go further, have you driven the redesigned Ranger? I assume you have, given the...
Yeah, absolutely. I have. I drove it for North American Car of the Year testing. I think I was on the launch, too. And very, very impressed with this vehicle. I mean, I've kind of always liked the Ranger, but, maybe Powertrain, it didn't quite get there. And I think they've added now a more powerful engine to the lineup, so I think that helps a lot. I think they've done a lot of good things with this vehicle, and I think it's terrific. Great interior as well.
I agree. The base engine, as you mentioned, is the carryover from the year before. It's a 2.3-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder inline-4. It's an EcoBoost, 270 horsepower, 310 pound-feet of torque. The new engine for this model year is the one that I had. It's a 2.7-liter turbocharged V6. It's also an EcoBoost. It makes 315 horsepower, 400 pound-feet of torque, and pairs with a 10-speed automatic transmission and 4-wheel drive. Jack, one of the things that I didn't love about the previous Ranger, as you mentioned, was the 4-cylinder engine. 270 horsepower, 310 pound-feet of torque are not bad numbers on paper, but it always felt a little bit strained. It was loud, coarse, and a little bit unrefined. So, in a small truck like the Ranger, it doesn't have a lot of sound deadening. It's not a lot of luxury features in there, so you're kind of living with the engine sound and vibration at all times. The 2.7-liter V6 is significantly more refined. You get 40 more horsepower, roundabout there, 45, which you feel under your right foot at all times. And it's more refined, as I mentioned, so it's quieter, it's smoother, the power delivery is more predictable, and you don't feel like you're straining to get to highway speeds when you're towing. I actually got to tow a light trailer the other day, and so, it does feel more capable and more refined. Excuse me. 4-wheel drive is available for this truck. I had a 4-wheel drive equipped truck. Otherwise, you get rear-wheel drive. I think that even without the Raptor, which gets more ground clearance, you get upgraded suspension and all those things, this is a pretty capable truck. We got about 4 inches of snow on the ground. I took it up to the fairgrounds across the street from my house. The ground underneath was muddy and not frozen yet, and it tackled it without any problem at all. And, there was never a time where it kind of stuttered. We complain a little bit, or I have in the past, about Ford's 10-speed searching for gears, as you start off. And I think they've kind of gotten some of that knocked out. The transmission tuning, the software feels like they've kind of refined that, and it feels a lot more responsive and capable. Jack, you mentioned the interior is much improved. You still get 5 seats in a crew cab configuration only. Cloth upholstery comes standard. My Lariat test trim had leather upholstery, heated steering wheel, and heated seats. Jack, I thought the redesign for 25 made it feel more ergonomic. It's more comfortable. Not a whole lot more spacious, but everything feels more composed and a little bit better thought through. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the ergonomics are better, which means the buttons and knobs and all that stuff work a little better than before. It looks more upscale, too. I think they've kind of upped the interior look a little bit, and that's helpful.
Yeah, one of the things that some of these trucks, the Tacoma, the old Tacoma, I haven't driven the new one, the Frontier also suffers from this, is sort of a lack of second row legroom because it's kind of an upright cab shape. We didn't really experience that here. We talk about my height. I'm 6 feet tall. I'm going to bring it up now. We haven't talked about that in a while. My wife sat behind me, and she's a little bit over 5 feet tall, had no issues at all. I think if you had 3 tall adults in the second row, then you would have some struggles there. People might feel a little cramped, but overall, I think you could buy this truck for a family of four and live with it pretty comfortably without too many sacrifices. Tech is one of my favorite parts of Ford's any vehicle that Ford makes, and so the Ranger comes standard with a 10-inch touchscreen and an 8-inch digital gauge cluster. My Lariat trim had a 12-inch vertically oriented touchscreen, so it's a portrait, and a 12-inch digital gauge cluster. You get Sync 4 infotainment software here, very responsive, packed with features, and the big screen looks great, though I will take a minute to complain about having all the features combined into one screen. It does make it feel a little complicated. And you do get some safety features here too. The Lariat comes with blind spot monitoring, forward collision alerts, automatic emergency braking, and the like. So for 45 grand here, Jack, I think this is more than enough truck for most people. You can tow, you have four-wheel drive, you have a good sized bed and enough interior space. So I think unless you need a full size, this is a fantastic option.
Yeah, I think it's a very, very good choice. A terrific one. And like I